You are listening to the Coinist podcast.
You're one of the only analysts I've seen. So we were just talking, another 6 years out or so. You're one of the only analysts I've ever seen that publishes a 10,000 year view for Bitcoin. Can you break that down? Because it's one of the coolest charts. I'm going to pull it up for all the viewers here on YouTube for everyone else. We'll explain it. But what's the 10,000 year view for Bitcoin? I've never seen someone project that far out, but it's actually fascinating in looking at how fiat money relates. So what's that? What's that about?
This is a tip of the hat to Stuart Brandt, who's head of the Long Now Foundation. You know, they like to take a 10,000 year view of history. And I really like that kind of, to think about things in the long view is probably under practiced. And so, like, it was dwelling in my head for a while to zoom back of where we sit in cryptocurrency and the greater backdrop. And of course, the greater backdrop of crypto is money, right? And
Mm-hmm.
money's been around since civilization has been around, which is roughly 10,000 years. And so when we look at civilizations, we really have to look at the great ages, right? We went from hunter-gatherer to the great first agrarian age, which brought the original villages and cities, and then we had the industrial revolution, which created a much more complexity of life, um, and then now we're undergoing this big, massive transformation into going into the digital age. So we're in the
Sure.
post-industrial revolution, and so like where do we sit with this? Is we've always had um, like precious metals, not always, but like I believe for 6,500 years we've had precious metals as being the token in which we had that backed scarcity. It was hard to print more of gold, silver, copper. And so, when we went to the Industrial Revolution, civilization became a lot more complex. And you can see we went onto the gold standard. We traded paper notes, which could
Yep.
circulate faster. We could expand the money supply, but still be tagged to a measure of scarcity around that gold locked up in vaults. And that was the money of the industrial age. And when I look at where we are right now with going through the internet, and you look at all the largest companies in the world, they're all digital. It's the Google's, Facebook, it's our FANG stocks, Facebook, Apple's. And the interesting thing about it is that um, until Bitcoin, we never really had anything on the internet that could be scarce. So and that's how I describe Bitcoin to people, is that let's not get into the technicals of how it works, but really someone just figured out how to make a um, internet scarcity. And so we're going through this phase where um, we're learning to trust it, and it's proving to be a store of value, and it's natively digital. And once we have a natively digital store of value, that can be transacted on the internet via code and programmable. And so when you have something that's native to the internet, that's a digital age money. And so that chart really, that picture really just shows that long-term trajectory of, if you want to zoom back or zoom forward in the long arc of it, um, if we're in a digital age, we really want a digital currency, and this is our first internet native digital currency. Um, and so I think I said bankers say it's a bubble, technologists call it a disruption, but students of history would call it the dawn of the digital age. And that pretty much summarizes
Yeah.
that chart.
Just popping up to say thank you so much for tuning into the show. I really do appreciate all of your attention. I don't take it for granted. You guys make the show worth doing. If you listen on iTunes or Spotify, or you watch here on YouTube, remember to hit subscribe. I used to never hit that button, but hit it because it will give you a notification when I have a new hedge fund or venture capital firm, or I have an analyst on where the market's going, or an exchange, so you understand what you're buying and selling. I don't want you to miss these conversations. So hit that subscribe button. And if you're feeling extra generous, want to get the word out, leave me a comment here on YouTube or drop a rating on iTunes. I cannot say thank you enough for those of you who do that. I really do appreciate it. Until next time, move slow, trade well, and I'll see you guys soon.